Hi everyone. In our further lecture, we have talked about the movement of gut, and we have discussed about the mastication, deglutition, hunger contraction, uh, receptive relaxation, peristalsis, emptying and filling of stomach, etc. We are continuing the same topic today also with another moments of guts, and we are starting with the vomiting. So, what is vomiting? Vomiting or emesis is the abnormal emptying of stomach and upper part of intestine through esophagus and mouth. What can be the causes of vomiting? Presence of irritating content in GI tract, mechanical stimulation of pharynx, pregnancy, excess intake of alcohol, nauseating sight, odor or taste. When we see something which is not pleasant, or we can hear something also which is not pleasant. Sometimes it happens that if we hear certain kind of noise, most probably the excess or aggressive noise, we also feel the same. Unusual stimulation of labyrinth apparatus, as in the case of seasickness, air sickness, car sickness, or swinging. I guess we have all experienced this many a times while we are moving in the car, or while we are going to any place which is in height. So we are experiencing this. Then abnormal stimulation of sensory receptors in other organs like kidney, heart, semicircular canals, or uterus. Drugs like antibiotics, opiates, etc. Any GI disorder, acute infection like urinary tract infection, influenza, etc. Metabolic disturbances like carbohydrate starvation and ketosis, uremia, ketoacidosis, and hypercalcemia. So this can be the reason or cause. Now we'll see the mechanism of vomiting. First, we'll talk about nausea. Vomiting is always preceded by nausea. Nausea is unpleasant sensation which induces the desire for vomiting. It is characterized by secretion of large amount of saliva containing more amount of mucus. Then there is a term called retching. Strong involuntary movements in the GI tract which start even before actual vomiting. These movements intensify the feeling of vomiting, and this condition is called retching, try to vomit, and vomiting occurs few minutes after this. Act of vomiting. Act of vomiting involves series of movements like takes place in the GI tract. Now we'll see the sequence of events. First, beginning of the peristalsis, which runs from ileum towards the mouth through the intestine, pushing the intestine content into the stomach within few minutes. Velocity of the peristalsis is about 2 to 3 centimeter per second. Deep inspiration followed by temporary cessation of the breathing. Then closure of glottis, upward and forward movement of larynx and hyoid bone, elevation of soft palate, contraction of diaphragm and abdominal muscles with a characteristic jerk, resulting in elevation of intra-abdominal pressure. Then there would be a compression of stomach between diaphragm and abdominal wall, leading to rise in intragastric pressure. Then simultaneously relaxation of lower esophageal sphincter, esophagus, and upper esophageal sphincter happened. Then forceful expulsion of gastric content, which is called vomitus, through esophagus, pharynx, and mouth. Movements during act of vomiting through the vomitus or materials ejected during vomiting to the exterior through mouth. To the exterior through a mouth. Some of the movements play important role by preventing the entry of vomitus through the other routes and thereby prevent the adverse effect of vomitus on many structures. Such movements are: first would be the closure of glottis and cessation of breathing, which prevents entry of vomitus into the lungs. Elevation of soft palate prevents the entry of vomitus into the nasopharynx. Larynx and hyoid bone move upward and forward and placed in this position rigidly. This causes the dilatation of throat, which allows free exit of vomitus. Then vomiting reflex. Vomiting is a reflex act. Sensory impulses for vomiting arise from the irritated or distended part of GI tract or other organs and are transmitted to the vomiting center through vagus and sympathetic afferent fibers. Vomiting center is situated bilaterally in medulla oblongata near the nucleus tractus solitarius. Motor impulses from the vomiting center are transmitted through 5th, 7th, 9th, 10th, and 12th cranial nerves to the upper part of GI tract and through spinal nerves to diaphragm and abdominal muscles. Center for vomiting during motion sickness and vomiting induced by drugs. Center for vomiting during motion sickness and vomiting induced by drugs such as morphine, apomorphine, etc. is on the floor of fourth ventricle. These are called the chemoreceptor trigger zone. During motion sickness, the afferent impulses from vestibular apparatus reach vomiting center through this zone. Motion sickness means while you are traveling, while you are moving. Center for psychic stimuli induced vomiting. Center for vomiting due to psychic stimuli such as nauseating odor, sight or noise is in the cerebral cortex. As I have talked earlier also, that when we see certain kind of things which are not pleasant, or when we experience a certain kind of odor, or we hear the certain kind of noise, then also it induces the vomiting. Now we'll see the movements of small intestine. Movements of small intestine are essential for mixing the chyme with digestive juice, propulsion of food and absorption. Types of movements of small intestine. Movements of small intestine are of 4 types. First is a mixing movement, which includes segmentation movements and pendular movements. Then second is a propulsive movement, which includes peristaltic movement, peristaltic rush and peristalsis in fasting migrating motor complex. Fourth would be the movements of wheeling. First we'll see the mixing movements. Mixing movements of small intestine are responsible for proper mixing of chyme with digestive juices such as pancreatic juice, bile and intestinal juice. The mixing movements of small intestine are segmentation, contraction and pendular movements. What is segmentation contractions? Segmentation contractions are the common type of movements of small intestine which occur regularly or irregularly but in rhythmic fashion. So their movements are also called the rhythmic segmentation contractions. The contraction occur at regularly spaced interval along a section of intestine. The segment of the intestine involved in each contraction is about 1 to 5 centimeter long. The segment of intestine is between the contractor segments and are relaxed. The length of the relaxed segment is same as that of the contracted segments. These alternate segments of contraction and relaxation give appearance of rings resembling the chain of sausages. After some time, the contractor segments are relaxed and relaxed segments are contracted. Therefore, the segmentation contractions chop the chyme many times. This helps in mixing of chyme with digestive juices. Second is the pendular movement. Pendular movement is the sweeping movement of small intestine, resembling the movements of pendulum of clock. Small portions of intestine sweep forward and backward or upward and downward. It is a type of mixing movement noticed only by the close observation. It helps in mixing of chyme with the digestive juices. Second is the propulsive movements. Propulsive movements are the movements of small intestine which push the chyme in the abdominal direction through the intestine. The propulsive movements are peristaltic movements and peristaltic rush. First we'll see about peristaltic movements. Peristalsis is defined as a wave of contraction followed by the wave of relaxation of muscle fibers. In GI tract, it always travels in abdominal direction. Stimulation of smooth muscles of intestine initiates the peristalsis. It travels from point of stimulation in both the direction. But under normal conditions, the progression of contraction in oral direction is inhibited quickly and the contraction disappears. Only the contraction that travels in a bowel direction persists. Starling's law of intestine. Depending upon the direction of the peristalsis, law of intestine was put forth by Starling. According to the law of intestine, the response of intestine for a local stimulus consists of a contraction of smooth muscle above and relaxation below the stimulated area. Peristaltic contraction that start at any part of the intestine and travel towards anal end at a velocity of 1 to 2 cm per second. The contractions are always weak and usually disappear after traveling for few centimeters. Because of this, the average movement of chyme through small intestine is very slow and the average velocity of movement of the chyme is less than 1 cm per second. So the chyme requires several hours to travel from duodenum to the end of the small intestine. Peristaltic waves in small intestine increase to a great extent immediately after a meal. This is because the gastroenteric reflex, which is initiated by the distension of the stomach. Impulses for this reflex are transmitted from stomach along the wall of the intestine via mesenteric plexus. Second is a peristaltic rush. Sometimes the small intestine show a powerful peristaltic contraction. It is caused by the excessive irritation of the intestinal mucosa or extreme distension of the intestine. This type of powerful contraction begins in duodenum and passes through entire length of the small intestine and reaches the ileocecal valve within few minutes. This is called the peristaltic rush or rush waves. Peristaltic rush sweep the content of the intestine into the colon. This is how it relieves the small intestine of either irritants or excessive distension. Third is the peristalsis in fasting, migrating motor complex. Migrating motor complex is a type of peristaltic contraction which occur in stomach and small intestine during the periods of fasting for several hours. It is also called the migrating myoelectrical complex. It is different from the regular peristalsis because a large portion of stomach or intestine is involved in the contraction. The contraction extends to about 20 to 30 cm of stomach or intestine. This type of movement occurs once in every half and 2 hours. It starts as a moderately active peristalsis in the body of stomach and runs through the entire length of the small intestine. It travels at a velocity of 6 to 12 cm per minute. This is how it takes about 10 minutes to reach the colon after the taking origin from the stomach. Significance of peristalsis in fasting. Migrating motor complex sweeps the excess digestive secretion into the colon and prevents the accumulation of the secretion in stomach and intestine. It also sweeps the residual indigested materials into the colon. Fourth is the movements of villi. Intestinal villi also show movements simultaneously along with the intestinal movements. It is because of the extension of smooth muscle fibers of the intestinal wall into the villi. Movement of villi are shortening and elongation, which occur alternatively and help in emptying lymph from the central lacteal into the lymphatic system. The surface area of villi is increased during elongation. This helps absorption of digested food particles from the lumen of intestine. Movements of villi are caused by the local nervous reflexes which are initiated by the presence of chyme in small intestine. Hormone secreted from the small intestine mucosa called the villikinin is also believed to play an important role in increasing the movement of the villi. Now we'll see the movements of large intestine. Usually the large intestine shows sluggish movements. Still, these movements are important for mixing, propulsive and absorptive functions. Type of movements of large intestine. First is the movement of large intestine are of two types. First is the mixing movements, segmentation contraction, and second is the propulsive movements, mass peristalsis. Mixing movement or segmentation contraction. Large circular contraction which appear in the colon are called the mixing segmentation contraction. These contractions occur at regular distance in colon. Length of the portion of colon involved in each contraction is nearly about 2.5 centimeter. Propulsive movements or mass peristalsis propels the feces from colon towards anus. Usually this movement occurs only a few times every day. Duration of mass movement is about 10 minutes in the morning before or after breakfast. This is because of the neurogenic factors like gastrocolic reflex and parasympathetic stimulation. Now we'll talk about the defecation. Voiding of feces or stool is known as the defecation. Feces is formed in the large intestine and stored in the sigmoid colon. By the influence of an appropriate stimulus, it is expelled out through the anus. This is prevented by tonic constriction of the anal sphincters in the absence of the stimulus. Defecation reflex. Mass movement drives the feces into sigmoid or pelvic colon. In the sigmoid colon, the feces is stored. The desire for defecation occurs when some feces enters rectum due to the mass movement. Usually the desire for defecation is elicited by the increase in the intrarectal pressure to about 20 to 25 centimeter H2O. Usual stimulus for defecation is intake of liquid like coffee or tea or water, but it differs from person to person. Act of defecation. Act of defecation is preceded by voluntary efforts like assuming an appropriate posture, voluntary relaxation of external sphincter, and the compression of abdominal contents by voluntary contraction of abdominal muscles. Usually the rectum is empty. During the development of mass movement, the feces is pushed into the rectum and the defecation reflex is initiated. The process of defecation involves the contraction of rectum and relaxation of internal and external anal sphincters. Internal anal sphincter is made up of smooth muscle and it is innervated by the parasympathetic nerve fibers via pelvic nerve. External anal sphincter is composed of skeletal muscle and it is controlled by somatic nerve fibers, which pass through pudendal nerve. Pudendal nerve always keep the external sphincter constricted and the sphincter can relax only when the pudendal nerve is inhibited. Then there is a reflex called gastrocolic reflex. Gastrocolic reflex is a contraction of rectum followed by the desire of defecation caused by the distension of stomach by food. It is mediated by the intrinsic nerve fibers of the GI tract. This reflex causes only a weak contraction of rectum, but it is initiated defecation reflex. Pathway for defecation reflex. Though this is not necessary for you to memorize, we are just going through this quickly. When rectum is distended due to the entry of the feces by the mass movement, sensory nerve endings are stimulated. Impulses from the nerve endings are transmitted via afferent fibers of pelvic nerve to the defecation center, situated in sacral segments of spinal cord. The center in turn sends motor impulses to the descending colon, sigmoid colon, and rectum via efferent nerve fibers to pelvic nerve. Motor impulses causes strong contraction of descending colon, sigmoid colon, and rectum, and relaxation of internal sphincter. Simultaneously, voluntary relaxation of external sphincter occurs. It is due to the inhibition of pudendal nerve by impulses arising from cerebral cortex. Evacuation of gases from the gastrointestinal tract. Normally, gas accumulates in the GI tract either because of the entrance of outside air or production of gases in the body. Accordingly, the gases accumulated in GI tract are classified into two groups: exogenous gases and endogenous gases. Exogenous gases form about 90% of accumulated gases. These gases enter the GI tract either by the swallowing through mouth or drinking carbonated beverages. Endogenous gases form about 10% of accumulated gases. These gases are produced by digestion of foodstuffs and interaction between bacteria and foodstuffs in the intestine. Evacuation of accumulated gases. Evacuation of accumulated gases usually occurs by two processes. First is a belching and second is a flatulence. Belching, આપણે જેને ઉડકાર ખાવું કહીએ. Belching is a process by which the gas accumulated in stomach is expelled through mouth. It is also called the burping. It occurs because of the inflation or distension of the stomach by swallowed air. The distension of the stomach causes abdominal discomfort, and the belching expels the air and relieves the discomfort. Most of the gas accumulated in stomach is expelled through mouth. Only a small amount enters the intestine. Causes for accumulation of gases in stomach. First is the aerophagia, swallowing large amount of air due to the gulping the food or drinking too rapidly. Second is a drinking carbonated beverages. Third is during some emotional conditions like anxiety, lot of air enters the stomach through the mouth. Act of belching. Belching is not a simple act, and it requires a coordination of several activities such as closure of larynx, which prevents entry of liquid or food with the air from stomach into the lungs. Then there is elevation of larynx and relaxation of upper esophageal sphincter. It allows exit of air through esophagus more quickly and easily. Opening of lower esophageal sphincter. Descent of diaphragm, which increases abdominal pressure and decreases intrathoracic pressure. All these activities are responsible for the expulsion of air from stomach to the exterior via esophagus. Flatulence. Flatulence is the production of a mixture of intestinal gases. The mixture of gases is known as a flatus. Expulsion of flatus through anus under pressure is called the farting or passing gas. Farting is also associated with the disagreeable odor and sound. Odor is because of the odorous gases, and sound would be because of the vibration of anal sphincter. Quantity of flatus. Average flatus released by human is about 500 to 1500 ml per day, with 10 to 25 episodes throughout the day. Sources of gases in intestine. Flatulence is the mixture of gases present in the intestine. Flatulence by swallowed air is rare. Common sources of gases in flatulence are bacterial action on undigested sugars and polysaccharides, digestion of some flatulence producing foodstuffs such as cheese, yeast and bread, oats, onions, beans, cabbage, milk, etc. Constituents of flatus. Major constituents of flatus. First is the swallowed non-odorous gases, nitrogen, oxygen. Second is the non-odorous gases produced by microbes, which includes methane, carbon dioxide, hydrogen. Then there is the odorous materials such as low molecular weight fatty acids like butyric acid and reduced sulfur compounds. Then there is a term called constipation. Failure of voiding of feces, which produces discomfort, is known as a constipation. It is due to the lack of movements necessary for the defecation. Due to the absence of mass movement in colon, feces remain in the large intestine for a long time, resulting in absorption of fluid. So the feces become hard and dry. Which can be the causes of constipation? Dietary causes. Lack of fiber or lack of liquids in the diet causes constipation. Irregular bowel habits is most common cause for the constipation. It causes constipation by inhibiting the normal defecation reflexes. Spasm of sigmoid colon, which prevents its motility, resulting in constipation. Diseases. Constipation is common in many types of diseases. Dysfunction of the mesenteric plexus in large intestine, which is a megacolon. Megacolon is the condition characterized by distension and hypertrophy of colon associated with the constipation. It is caused by the absence of damage of ganglionic cell in mesenteric plexus, which causes dysfunction of mesenteric plexus. It leads to accumulation of large quantity of feces in colon. The colon is distended due to the diameter of 4 to 5 inches. It also results in hypertrophy of the colon. Congenital development of megacolon is called the Hirschsprung disease. Drugs. The drugs like diuretics, pain relievers, antihypertensive drugs, anti-Parkinson drugs, antidepressants, and the anti-conversion causes constipation. So this was all about the movements of guts. We have divided it into two parts. Today we have talked about the other part of the movements of guts, though it is not necessary to memorize, but you have to understand what these movements are, because it will help you to understand the process of digestion and absorption. So this was it. Let me know if you're having any query. Thank you.